Hi, thank you all for tuning in. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Just put a hi or a hello on the chat room, please. We'll wait for a few more minutes for others to join in. Just put a hello, hi, anything on the chat. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Just there seems to be some issue on the recording for me. I'm just recording it once and then we'll get started. Yes, I'll upload it, sir. No problem on the YouTube thing. We'll upload it. But if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. After, I use volume profiles. I do look at market profiles. I use volume profiles. Keep your maybe you can put your questions and I'll answer them shortly. What's wrong with this? Okay, we'll get started. Thank you all for tuning in. Okay, so this is um, okay, we'll cover a few concepts of, let's say trading these fast moving markets in terms of how you can do it and picking out the market trends early from a day point of view, mostly from a day trading and scalping point of view, especially with respect to the recent trends that you have been seeing in terms of large ranges and volatility. So basis that we'll try to cover some of these themes. Okay. So meanwhile, you can also put in your questions around this. I'll try to answer some of them or most of them, and then we'll see. Okay, as we go along. Okay. So, if you are just new to this concept of profile and order flow, I'll just quickly give you a review. Okay, what I use generally is volume profile. This is called as a volume profile, and which is essentially representing the volume over time. Very similar to, if you know, market profile. Very similar to that. Only thing is I prefer volume profile a little more. My primary reasons being that volume edges on a day time frame or a short term time frame are more prominent. Okay, this and within the volume profile, if you see this is the blue one, the blue zone that you see is the value area for the day. Okay, so this each of them are a session profile. Each of them are a session profile, and this is the composite profile that you see. Okay, and this is the value area for the day. The blue one in the high area zone is called the value area high, and the low zone is called the value area low for the session. Okay, so so that's how we use it, and then I plot the cumulative delta typically on the lower frame, all using gocharting charts only. So all of them are available on gocharting. Try out these. I've shared my gocharting templates also in our Telegram group. Feel free to use them if you want to. Okay, so this is the typical setup that I use for a market analysis, and then I would use an order flow charts typically for executions. That's all. Okay, the simple setup, nothing very complicated. Now, the question that most of us ask have been facing recently is, okay, market, one day gap up, another day gap down, and then it follows on one side, it follows on the other side. How do we try to pick those trends up and make sense of the markets in that way? Okay, that is the most common question. So I'll share a few quick tricks here as part of this session and call to help you figure out how to pick the market trend early, and then basis that if you can trade on one side on daily time frame. Okay, so far if I'm clear and loud, just put a yes, that will help, else it will look like कि मैं बोले जा रहा हूँ. So please put a yes or a no, that will help anybody. Hello, can you all listen maybe on the chat? If you can listen to me clearly. Am I audible, guys? Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Great. So now, this is we'll use a few techniques that I'll speak about. Okay, in terms of picking the trends early, and then basis that you can use it for your day trading setup as such. Okay. So one of the things I generally look at is where are we opening with respect to the previous day value area. Okay. So that is the first thing I would look at typically for figuring out whether we are outside, we're inside the range or anything. Okay. Look at this chart, for example. Look at this chart, which is the major gap down that we had post that event. Okay, so this one, for example, the question here would, in most of our minds, would have been whether after the gap down, market will continue on the downside or market will go on the upside, right? So where we look at is typically the previous day value area, and maybe in conjunction with that, try to use the uh, try to use the opening range as well as a reference. So generally what I'm doing is I'm trying to I'll just probably plot it here. Okay, I'm trying to see if this is previous day value area. If I'm opening lower than the value area, then I'm looking at generally the opening range. If opening range is taken out, then we look for a push towards the previous day value area. If it is taken out on the downside, then we look for a continuation of based on the order flow and other analysis on the downside. Okay, so that is how we'll typically analyze and take a quick view of the markets. Okay, then that is your statement number one is essentially where are we opening with respect to the previous day value area. Okay, and then statement number two is typically looking at you know uh, delta and cumulative delta views. Okay, in terms of how delta and cumulative delta is shaping up for the day. If you look at this day, which is that big gap down day, okay, so we how do you figure out whether market can trend downside or upside? Okay, if you look at this day, this particular day, let's say, we'll come to any other day as also as a reference, but I just want to start off with this one. So if you see there was a massive gap down. Okay, opening ranges means initial balance, yes, which is roughly, I keep the first 10-15 minutes as a reference. Okay, so when you see this day, okay, it opened a massive gap down. Delta was fairly neutral. Okay, there was nothing on the delta on each of this candle, right? And then we have a large negative delta spike. Now, most of us will not be very sure whether this is a from there this is a pullback or this is a sort of a reversal rally. Okay, so there are two references. One, of course, you have old references in market. If you remember, if you're trading as part of my group, we mentioned 650 in both in our group as a reference. So I'm looking at 650 as a reference where we thought okay, markets can fall from there. Secondly, if you see this, okay, while the price pulled back sharply, the delta pullback was very negligible. Okay, it did not even get any higher. Okay, from even engulf that. So generally, it meant that the buying strength in this case is low. Okay, and hence I would look to pull back the shorts in this case, and then eventually you could look to pull back the shorts. So your theory number two, theory number one is opening range plus value area. Okay, and then theory number two is cumulative delta. I think no, theory number one is I think value area. Okay, theory 2 is opening range, and then 3 is how cumulative delta is shaping up with respect to the price. If you look at simply these three things, okay, largely you'd be able to pick and make a framework for your day trading for the any day. Now let's basis this, okay, basis this, let us just look at, let's say, the second day, which is the day that came after this one. Okay, this one gap down, okay, no, sorry, gap up within the value area, so it is put inside the value area, so it is not even getting below the previous session's value area, which is this. Okay, so then when it is within the value area, it is not trying to get below. The expectation would be to pull to the other side of the value area for the previous day. Okay, what you have favorable opening range at, you wide opening range, so you'd want to trade a pullback of this range. But so I do not, if it's too wide, then it's not very risky to trade a breakout. You want to trade a pullback. But what we have highly favorable is the cumulative delta, okay, which was sort of spiking higher. Okay, also notice another thing in this case, the second day. Okay, after this large candle, okay, after this large candle, if you see, there was a lot of huge delta buying, but the market did not really move up. So if you see, delta started flattening out, and so there was not much initiative, and there was an exhaustion at the top. So there essentially it meant is that buyers not interested further beyond this level. Okay, again, so there was a clear exhaustion at the top where delta started tapering off. There was no much negative delta, but overall it started tapering off, and we saw a nice little pullback from these levels as well. Okay, so that was a clear case of exhaustion. Okay, so again, how did I apply? Next day value area. Okay, so inside you expect a pullback, you expect a pullback and coverage of the value area, you have that. Combine it with your cumulative delta. Okay, day 3 same theory, day 3 same theory, again a massive gap down. Okay, huge negative delta on the markets of opening outside the value area. Okay, so generally what you'd want to do, you want to take a short outside this value area range. Okay, but there was a minor range extension. But if you see delta, now if you go to footprint charts for day 3, you will see that there's an absorption in this case, so I'll show it to you. But then once it started pulling inside, it covered the opening range. I think the short view is gone. Second is, once it started pulling inside this volume ranges, which was not specifically the value area, but this volume ranges, you have a theory in place where you can think that yes, it is inside this HVN node. Once it is taken that off, I would look to trade the VPOC and the value area high of the previous day. Okay, delta means buying or selling. So more positive delta is aggressive buying, more negative delta is negative buy, aggressive selling. Look at the FNO traders YouTube videos. Okay, there is a wonderful YouTube series we have for order flow understanding. Okay, please look at that, guys, please. Okay, so day 2 I was talking about this where we had a absorption, and I'll show it to you. That's where I think I get to the nuances and depth of the footprint chart. Okay, so if you see 28th Feb, if you see youth selling initiative, here also selling initiative, okay, in this candle, and this in candle again, a lot of selling at the lows. Okay, so what we end up happening here is, if you what we end up happening here, if you see, is there was a selling initiative definitely beyond this candle, and you could have shorted. But here you have started seeing signs of prices holding up. Okay, despite a huge selling delta here, and then despite a huge selling delta at the lows, candle had a pullback. So essentially it meant that there are orders which are absorbing this level. Okay, and then you have this initiative buying. If you see in this candle, there was a lot of buying here. Okay, my positive delta. So the delta really pulled back. Not the cumulative delta was not positive, but delta really pulled back. So then you have a theory of the sellers are not being able to really control much, and so there could be a pullback, if not a complete trend update, but there is a possibility of a pullback for sure. Okay, so even if you're looking to short, you'd look to short from higher levels. Okay, I think I do not use this word initiative selling and buying directly, so I'm looking at delta. So pardon me if actually, so it is more like I'm looking at the cumulative delta. If there is a huge negative cumulative delta, it is sellers are aggressive, and cumulative delta becoming positive is buyers are getting more aggressive. That's how we define buying and selling interest essentially from an aggressive point of view. Okay, so and that is it. And then if you see day three and even today was interesting. Today was a completely different take actually. Today again Okay, today was an interesting take where we sort of open within the range if you see, and then there was a negative delta. At one point, I felt like if 500 levels are defended, I said market could pull back. We did spike lower. There's no perfect trade always. We did spike layer, but then eventually what was happening today is there was a lot of selling happening, but prices were really holding up. There was so that's where at one point I wrote the sellers are not doing a great job as of today, because if you see and delta turned sharply negative, but even till this point prices were just holding up. Okay, there was not much of an interest in terms of selling, but then again you combine it with the opening range theory, same principles within the opening range, within the value area. So now I'm looking at, if you want to short the opening range inside the value area, what is your target? Your target is roughly this HVN levels, okay, or this value area low levels, typically where market almost paused. Okay, and once this is held, now all you want to see is whether price can get below this range, then look for a continuation, or you can look for a bounce based on your analysis or anything. Okay, and if you see the bounce stopped where it stopped exactly at this 650 levels again, which is kind of the cumulative profile and delta for the last few sessions. Okay, so try to use this, as I said, try to use this cumulative delta value area where we are opening. So basis that, and then combine it with your cumulative delta 3. So first theory is, where am I opening? Am I opening outside the value area, or am I opening inside the value area? If I'm opening outside, then I'm looking for a trend continuation if the range tries to break. Okay, initial range. Okay, if else I'm looking for a pullback into the value area. If I'm looking inside the value area, then chances of a range bound day are higher until we break outside that range. Okay, blue area is the value area, which is 70% of traded volume for the day. Okay, gray is outside that, so it is value area, outside value area high, outside value area low. Okay, how do you define initial? I think how do you put the FIS indicator below cumulative delta? I think that is in there is there is an indicator called delta bars. You can use that in order flow go charting. Delta bars, you use this, you will get that indicator. But you can also use my templates which are there on that group. So yes, if there are huge deltas and price is not really moving to that extent or that speed, okay, I would expect price. I'm looking at absorption happening, and I'm very keenly looking for a pullback trade opportunity in those cases. Okay, so price has to be in sync with the delta, else you will look for a pullback opportunity. Also, you look for your confluence of levels also that you're looking at, right? Okay, so for example, today my level, I said, I think was around 500, which is roughly around what this was 500. Yeah, so I was looking at this top of this range, if you see. So once it hit that level, delta started spiking lower, but prices were not able to go down. So then I had a thing in mind that this could be a pullback opportunity. Eventually everything is a probability trade. You also have to keep in mind, no trade is a sure shot trade. Okay, okay, any questions on this, or any new questions, or do you like it, you don't understand it? Okay, Amit, there's a Telegram group and community, so you can consider joining that. It's in, a lot of members are there. I do share a lot of active trading insights there. Okay, Amit, okay. Any questions on this? So the Telegram group is FNO Traders also by that name. I'll probably put it on the chat also for others to, know. Yeah. Okay. Option buyer or a seller? I am mostly a seller. Sometimes I'm a buyer, but if I'm buying, I do go for a futures trade. Okay, I'll not do an option. So rarely I would do an option trade, but if I'm looking for, let's say, a quick play, then I would probably take a future. Otherwise, I'm looking at option selling. Okay. So templates are there in the Telegram group. It's on the pinned messages. All those templates are available. Okay. Aryan, I think that's not that's a too much of a simplification. No, not short strangle per se, but it is how you define if it's opening within the range, and then you can look for a within the range movement until you break outside yesterday's value area. Okay, so like also yesterday was elongated. Today is simple one. So today, if you see as a very small value area range relatively, okay. Tomorrow our game should be to look for a continuation outside the value area on one side. Okay, if it's within, if it gaps outside anywhere, then we look for a pullback into this value area mean. Okay, but otherwise, we look for a continuation from the value area on either side. Okay, Anurag, how to use cumulative delta is mostly used in, yes, on a daily basis. But I think the way to use it for swing trading is if there is a huge cumulative delta selling, huge cumulative delta selling, let's say, or a buying activity. Okay, and prices also close on that side in general. Okay, forget these events, but I'm telling you in general. Then you could think of, let's say, a lot of buying got added. Compare that with an open interest change. You have a more confirmation of, things getting working in that side, right? Generally, so you can use it with an open interest and where prices are closing. Okay. 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 And how do you 500? I think 500. I'll tell you, Somraj. I think, see, if you see the top of this range, right? This value areas, I was expecting this small volume node. If you see, I was expecting this to be defended on any pullback. Okay, this range actually. So roughly, and then open interest was there at 500. So I combined those two. Okay. Sorry, Sushant, I did not understand your question. No, okay, Go charting. I quickly do a review for you. Okay, Go charting. You don't use a paid version. The version is free. Okay, Go charting. The version is free, but what you do is you pay for the data. Okay, generally I'll tell you, you can go for the you can go for the NSC data pack, which is the 10 futures pack. Okay, you can go for that, and that should be enough. Okay, but the version is free. You get a lot of nice features. I'll quickly do an overview of, for all of you. You have different kinds of chart which you can plot. You can plot the normal charts, you can plot Heikinashi, you can plot Kagi, you can plot the Renko charts if you're using Renko. Then you can have a host of other indicators that are available in any other software. So most of those indicators are there. Then you can use the order flow. Of course, order flow indicators are there. You can do a lot of customizations in terms of, ranges, axis, things like that. That is there. The key benefit, though, what I see is two things. You can use the order, you have the order flow view, which is not there on any, I think, web-based platform, typically for Indian data at least. Okay, and then you have the profile view. You have both market profile, you have volume profile, and you have order flow. Okay, so you can use any of them. So, and then you also have the trade data, which is basically live trades happening. So you can see live trades. I've shared a YouTube video a couple of days back how to use the trade book also to take scalp trades. You have a look at that, and you can also you do that. Okay. Also, so consider being on the FNO Traders YouTube channel as well. And then you have this cumulative delta and delta plotting, which you can use. Okay. So the bar statistics is basically a representation. Bar statistics is nothing but this bar data, which is representation of each bar, whatever is happening from a delta, volume, and other points of view. Okay, guys. Sorry, Suresh, I did not understand any. Yes, no, MCX is not. MCX has to be a separate pack, Somraj. But MCX is something like this. Yesterday, if you see, we identified, I think day before yesterday, 70, 100 levels as a great absorption was happening around there. That's the same thing I said. And then we had a huge bounce of those levels. Okay, so that was a massive rally from those levels. Okay, that was a good trade. Suresh, any specific worries essentially, but I think it's a good software, especially if you're looking to trade order flow. It's a great cost alternative, I would say, in terms of the benefits it is giving. Okay, any questions more? I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, data cost, I think roughly about 11 1200 per, that is the minimum data cost that you have. You can really take that. Okay. uh, you can really try that out. I think there's 1100 or 1200 is the data cost per month, which is 10 symbol. I think that is more than enough. Go for the 10 symbol pack. Okay, so it's 1150 if you take a uh, if you take a 10 symbol pack. If you take a yearly pack, it is much cheaper. So you can do either of that. You can take the yearly pack, or you can sort of go for the monthly pack also. Okay. So, and the 10 symbol pack should be more than enough. Yes, yes, it is actually a very good alternative to start. Honestly, I also feel, and the another beautiful thing is it is a cross-asset platform, so you don't have to look for multiple feeds or anything. So same platform I have crude, same platform I'm doing Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm trading across the same analysis, same templates across multiple platforms. Okay, things. Okay, pin. Okay, I'll think if it's fine. 10:45. I think maybe it was more of an exhaustion, okay, more of an exhaustion. So there was not much of an buyer side push in that space, and it was more of an exhaustion actually. Okay, Vaidya, yes, of course, sir. Anytime for you. So cluster charts is okay. I'll quickly give you a view of what the cluster chart is. There are two footprint charts available. Same, the data is same. Okay, so the data is same. It's only the representation is different, nothing else. So you can use the cluster chart, or you can use the imbalance chart. Okay, you have an option here. You go, you select it. So between imbalance and cluster. Okay, I somehow personally I'm just got used to the cluster, so I use the cluster. In cluster chart, what you see is basically the bid and the ask. On the left side is the bid, which is basically if you see, the sellers on the left side, and this one is the buyers. Okay, aggressive buyers. Think of it that way. Okay, if there are more sellers, it will be represented as in left red color. If there are more buyers, it will be represented as green color. Okay, the more number of buyers versus sellers, the color will be darker, or darker red or darker green. Okay, now so that is the quick interpretation of how the chart looks like. Okay, and then within that, if you see, I'm looking at this as a cluster of volume. So typically I look at this as a volume cluster. Okay, so this is where most of the volume activity happens. Now generally you want to focus on these things around the edges. Okay, when I say around the edges, typically, let's say if you see this candle where there was a lot of trying to sell buy, you are not sure whether market will go on one side. But so I'm focused on this volume. Essentially, we need a close here or we need a support from here. So this breakout or this pullback is an opportunity you'd want to get in. Okay, so that is how you would use the cluster, from a volume point of view. Okay, and if you go back anywhere, it's the same representation, nothing else. If you see there, this was a core volume, so essentially you'd want to see that whether price can hold below above these ranges typically. Okay, once it breaks out, so you have to combine it with other other support resistance concept that you have. Okay, imbalance, or I think Shubhankar, any of them is good. And whatever you are visually comfortable with, I can use both. I have got used to both, so both are good. Imbalance gives you an idea of large buyer seller in a color coded manner. So if that is important to you, use that. Okay, if the volume is important, use that. But both are good. Same data. Don't think too much. Just try using something consistently. I think that is more important. Then you get used to the visual look and feel of that in real market conditions. Okay, don't try to switch too many times. That is the only advice I can give. So, yes, delta is the aggressive, so delta is the difference between aggressive buyers minus aggressive sellers. If delta is positive, there are more aggressive buyers. If delta is negative, more aggressive sellers. Okay. Okay, guys. I think any questions, anything. See, Bitcoin again, and another classic real-time example, guys. Okay, so you have a large sellers coming in, sell a lot of absorption around the VPOC of 2 sessions back. Okay, so and then you wait around these times to see if there is a initiative buying. You have this buying delta coming in, and you try to load up. That's all. Okay. Yes, imbalance will plot support and resistance. How do you use it? I'll quickly give you an overview. There are two parameters in imbalance you have to be watchful about. One parameter is your imbalance level. So now, how many times multiplier? I use 500. Okay, and then number of zones. So like every time there is more 5 times more buyer or seller, it will highlight in a yellow color. And if 500 is basically 5 times, okay, as 300 is three times. And if there are continuous 2 or 3 levels, in this case 3 levels of support and resistance, and sort of aggressive buyers and sellers, it will color code in a resistance or a support band. Okay, that's how it works. There is a video on FNO Traders channel also on using imbalance chart. Check it out. Okay, you can check it out. And also, if you guys were interested, if somebody wants to see the trade book typically looks like this, real time. There's a video I've created for that also. Try to sort of see that. Okay, trade book will see, you can see live orders trickling along like this, and you can use that for your entry, exit, or scalp trading typically. Especially, there's a quick video for that, how to use trade book, and check that out as well in the FNO Traders YouTube channel. Okay, guys, any more questions? I'm happy to take. No, level 2 is not there, so I don't. The DOM is not much beneficial from an Indian market context, so that way level 2 is not there. Yes. Anybody who is is not using the platform can consider using it. If you need a little bit of separate handholding on getting signed up on the platform and all that, reach out to me or the go charting teams. Okay, so any of them should be able to help you. As I said, the platform is good, a lot of features. Okay, and from a cost point of view, it is worth trying out actually. Okay, it also offers execution if you're onto some of the brokers as well. Plus, it has an option trading panel as well. So there are a couple of I think holistic things available. Okay, and the good part is the team is great, so they are very responsive to queries and any request, feature requests, things like that. Okay, and okay, apart from that, what else? I'm happy to take questions if any. So Vaidyaji, if you see, there is a now this is the volume cluster. This is where you would want to see prices getting above or below for a continuation. That is the kind of thing you would look for in a real-time situation. Forex markets, I think the access is not there yet, I think, but they're adding some markets. They're adding US markets also. We have made requests to put in Forex markets, but I think um, if there is enough representation, they would try. So we can ask them to do a poll or anything to for us, to see if there is enough interest, okay, to add any Forex brokers. That would be good actually. So I can ask them, okay. Yeah, we can ask them to do a poll to add any Forex brokers if they're interested. If I missed any questions, please sort of type it. YouTube channel link, sir. I thought, yeah. So I'm not sure if you're able to access it. Please try it out. It's FNO Traders, same name. Search for it, FNO Traders. Suresh, the link is in the, all the templates are available on my Telegram channel. Please get there. So not only this, all the other templates also for crude, for order flow, for everything. So I think Anurag, the key is to look for that pattern around your levels of interest. Okay, not trying to randomly get in on any high buy or high sell. If the high buy or high sell is in your level of interest, which is actually a resistance level, and price is not able to scale through, even if you get in, you better get out quickly outside that. So look for your level of interest essentially. Okay. So and then look for order flow around those. Okay. No, Lupindra, cumulative delta is not also meant for that actually for globally for any studies. So best not to use it that way also. Okay, I think use it from a day context which is better because the volumes and everything are different. Okay, Somraj, avoid crude, avoid any. I think yeah, Anurag levels of interest. Crude. I think we were discussing. You see, I think I did tweet about it, Somraj. Also, I think I put it on the Telegram group also, the crude trade actually. Okay. See, I marked these levels coming into these levels. If you see, there was a lot of negative delta 600, 440, 740, which is much more than the positive delta at that point, minus 440, then again minus 400. Okay, so minus 500 here almost. So I was thinking that prices were not just going down below these levels despite so much of selling. Okay, and if you see on the cumulative delta plot also, you'll notice the delta was constantly going down, but prices were just holding up here. This was this day. So he gave this trade at around 71.60, I think. Yes, fib is good actually. So why not use fib? And then definitely use fib. I think there's no harm in using fib. But the more important thing is I do a trade plan every day in the morning, which is again available on the group and so try to have your trade plan or follow my trade plan, build a plan, and then approach the market from that plan point of view. It will be useful. You check with any old time user of the plan. I think the plan is very effective that I share. So they would really vouch for it, I'm sure. So basis that, try to have my use my plan. You have your plan, and then look for order flow and other activities. Don't look for a random high buy number or a high sell number. I think that would help. Okay, guys. Okay, guys, I think we can stay on for another 5 minutes. Any more questions, and then we'll we'll probably seize the session. It was a quick one, essentially to give you all a grasp of how to handle the current market context. Okay, because a lot of traders, I'm sure, are getting lost in this situation of gap ups, gap down, and trend reversal, trend continuation. So if you follow this quick framework, this will help you form a quick view early in the day instead of getting late in the day, and probably try and capitalize on those kind of situations. Okay. Yeah, Suresh, I'll try to post it on the YouTube channel. Cumulative tick, I mean cumulative delta, not sure, but no, I don't have an SMA, so nothing on the cumulative delta. We'll see, probably, honestly, we have not planned one yet, but we'll see. But let's see. Thank you for your interest, though. I really appreciate it. Be active in the group, guys. You know that it's meant for a effective community for all of us to sort of share, discuss, talk through. So be active there, and it will be great actually. So share your ideas too. Why not? So and then let's take it forward. Any questions? Quick last few 1 minutes on the platform, on Go Chatting, on the analysis or anything. I'm happy to take. So if you're going for Nifty, Bank Nifty, if you trade options, also take the futures pack. I think that is good enough, and that should work and should serve the purpose. Okay. Okay, guys, I think that should be it. Then I think we can call it a nice evening. Thank you all for attending, and it's a good number. So I really appreciate you all attending this session. And subscribe, be part of this FNO Traders, as I said, channel or the YouTube thing. Also, I keep on sharing thing. There are a couple of things I've shared on imbalance and trade book reading. Have a look at it. You'll like it actually. Okay. What else? Uh, Renko, not much. Renko, I have no, you can, but not much. Yeah, so I've not tried much actually, but you can, but because it's still about ranges only. No, the purple lines are part of my analysis and drawing, so they don't get auto plotted, unfortunately. So it's something that I plot and I look for. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, everybody. I think thank you all. If there's nothing, we will sort of close the session and really appreciate your participation again. Thank you, guys. Okay. Once this video is posted, I would really appreciate if you all can also leave a quick feedback on the video chat as well. Thank you.